I'm very excited for people to play this game. There's no one aspect that I could say that I want people to experience, because I want people to experience all of it. It's such a journey, it's such a big part of our lives, and I just want people to be able to see it.
I think the biggest challenge that we've had was actually how to make the game approachable for the newcomers who have not played the original, but at the same time to still retain the familiarity of the game that player remembers from 20 years ago.
Our goal from the very beginning was to maintain the game's atmosphere while modernizing the gameplay to make it competitive in 2024.
In the remake, the story remains largely the same. However, with the magic of modern technology, we were able to expand on some of its aspects.
The hardest was designing combat. We want to be as faithful as possible to the original game, but also we want players to feel satisfaction while playing, remembering that we need to fit in horror genre standards.
So when making a game with static cameras, you as a designer have much more control over what players sees, where they go, and so on. The change for the third-person perspective was a challenge. That being said, it's a chance for us to expand this world, to show the players new elements that were previously inaccessible, and just make this game richer.
Well, the main thing that requires rethinking was the fog, because it was called classic in the original game, and it's a veil that covers the world and makes the player to feel even more isolated.
New technologies gives us a chance to do things that were not possible during the earlier generations of video games. For narrative, this is very visible in facial expressions. We can tell so much through just the subtle changes on characters' faces.
The presented gameplay footage shows a fragment of the city from the beginning of the game and sections in Brookhaven Hospital. The fight against monsters is prepared in a more tactical form, and it's mainly based on the varied designs of the enemies. James is not used to fighting, so his arsenal of attacks is limited. Adapting your approach to the situation will be the key to success. However, your playing style, among other things, determines what ending you will discover.
It's hard to imagine a good horror game without effective sound design. Interestingly enough, sound and music are added at the very end of production. Yet for the players, everything begins with them.
We really wanted to emphasize the use of silence, because being able to listen to various sounds and noises coming out from the town of Silent Hill would be really interesting for the players.
We know from the very beginning that approaching Silent Hill 2 shouldn't be made in the same way like any other game. Like this game was making it in a very special manner, and we knew that playing with silence, playing with specific sounds, it's the most important thing. Like in this game, like every sound, even for monsters, has a meaning.
So we played the game a lot, and we wanted to catch the feeling it evoked in us, and we inspired our new designs on the original sounds. But we also took some of the sounds like one-to-one and put them in the game and layered it with the new stuff and did some post-process. And we are very curious if the players can find them all.
So the most memorable part for me was the clever use of silence in the original.
It's him.
And we really wanted to recreate that silence, but in a different way. You sit in the place for 10 minutes and really tune yourself the environment that you're sitting in. You can actually hear a lot, especially when you close your eyes. So I highly recommend just playing the game and just stop for a minute and listen to the ambience that it's there. Because it's beautiful.
Sometimes you will hear not much more than just James breathing heavily. We trigger your imagination with specific tones in dark corridors, and we use unexpected sounds associated with monsters, making you question what they really are.
Hello? Is anyone there?
So probably the most challenging part was to create the sound for the monsters, because their sounds are very iconic and people are expecting something special there. We wanted to achieve this feeling of pain and pleasure at the same time.
Sometimes it's really hard to differentiate the sound design and music in our project, but it was made on purpose because we really aimed to creating this cohesive and complete experience for the players, which immerses us into the world of James's twisted mind.
So the audio layer in boss fights was especially important and challenging in creating immersive experience. Our goal was to amplify this emotional and psychological aspect of each battle. The unsettling industrial noises in conjunction with oppressive music create this claustrophobic atmosphere and discomfort.
There was a division of work inside the team, and one sound designer may have been working with combat design team. Where other at the same time was working with level designers to support ambiances and events on their location.
We wanted to achieve really high detail, and one of the things that we can do is to record thousands of Foley recordings for all characters, objects, events, and what's more important, sounds of the most famous green jacket of James that became sort of an icon in the game industry.
We absolutely love the original soundtrack of Silent Hill 2. It basically made me pursue the career of a composer and sound designer. And we really wanted to bring back as many of the old tracks as possible to the remake. We re-recorded and resampled many of them, even by using the old and original sample libraries. And we also used modern mixing techniques because the sound and the whole audioscape is made with the surround systems in mind. So even the music, you can hear different things in the front and the rear speakers. I think it's going to be really interesting for the players to find out hidden clues and hidden Easter eggs, sound-wise, but also musically-wise. Music is an irreplaceable part of the world building Silent Hill 2, but also you could even tell that it's coming out straight from James's head in a diegetic way.
Another important example is the recording session with actors. Usually there is a sound technician to watch over the quality and technical side, but you also need to cooperate with somebody from the narrative team so that they can keep an eye on the performers and emotional impact of the scene.
What kind of place?
The kind two lovers might call special. I can show you if you want. Unless you have somewhere else to be. something else to do. Hey, easy there. I'm just messing with you.
For me, definitely when the first sounds came to the table, it is the moment when you start to feel that everything clicks together. It starts to create like this kind of like uncomfortable feeling in our heads that okay, like this is something different. This is something that we need to go through because it creates like this game being unique and what Silent Hill is all about.
So I'm Luke Roberts, and I'm playing James Sunderland in the remake of Silent Hill 2.
My name is Salome Gunnarstottir, and I play Mary/Maria.
When you're playing an iconic character such as James Sunderland, you obviously have to respect the original.
When playing these characters in this game, the thing that I paid most attention to was the original game.
So he is not an action hero by any means. He is just a guy who is a little lost at the top of this game, and in a sense of he is to a greater extent in a bewildered state. So it's very interesting charting his journey.
This one, we're trying to honor something that's already been made. And so it's not me creating something, it's me channeling something.
The tone of this game is very important, and the team at Bloober were very keen to create an incredible atmosphere for the gamers.
I do believe that this will be trying its very best to capture and recapture the atmosphere, the vibe, and the story, and sometimes like the literal words and moments of the original.
James Sunderland is one of the most iconic and unique characters in gaming history.
James is a very layered character, although it might not be obvious from the start. You can tell he's been through a lot, and now he's come to this strange place, driven by this insane hope that his wife could still be alive. And I feel that's very easy to identify with, because, well, we've all lost someone, and what wouldn't we give if by some miracle they could be brought back?
We wanted to stay true to the original design, but we also wanted to use modern technology to expand on the concept of an ordinary man pushed into extraordinary situations. Our version of James has 3D facial hair. You will see his clothes getting dirtier and his face more tired as he progresses through the game.
It'd be very easy to get carried over the top with a very flashy design, but this will be missing the point of who James is as a character. It had to be not too cool, not too good looking. There is this aspect of James of being a bit more of a pretend hero than an actual heroic figure.
The story of Silent Hill 2 is the story of James. Everything he does in that story is meaningful, and therefore everything the player does is meaningful. That's why we were very deliberate about the actions that we ask the players to perform. They all have meaning.
So we want the players to feel uneasy with James, to feel not really prepared what will happen next.
Mary? There are very few games where the narrative permeates this many layers of the experience. It's not just about dialogue or any written text. The story informs game design, level design, the visuals. It's all there to serve James's journey.
It was also crucial to animate him in a way that reflects his character. He's an office worker, not someone accustomed to fighting. His posture is hunched, and every action you take is far from heroic.
He's not standard battle-ready action hero. He's not someone that is very experienced with combat or parkour.
So we usually use the references of videos of just normal people, very often recording ourselves.
Working with professional actors on the set, it's a completely different story. Especially for the game like this, it was very important to have an actor that is able to portray all of those emotions, even not through words, but through facial expressions and acting in a specific way during those scenes. And Luke Roberts was probably our best choice in the casting process.
When you're playing an iconic character such as James Sunderland, you obviously have to respect the original and not deviate too far from a much-loved legacy.
So it's funny because during Luke's initial audition, everything went wrong. The audio quality was terrible, we were running super late, the lines got mixed up, but you know, there was just something so special about this particular actor embodying this role.
My name's James Sunderland.
He was able to bring those another layers of the character into the scene.
So he's eminently relatable and he's in out of his depth, which is one of my favorite scenarios. So he is not an action hero by any means. He is just a guy who is a little lost at the top of this game, and in a sense of he is to a greater extent in a bewildered state.
Action!
Come on, hurry!
In this project, we use multiple motion capture solution to capture all the body nuances and detail. And on top of that, we add top-notch HMC, so head-mounted camera that capture all the actor expression, subtleness, and everything on their faces.
I don't know if it shows, but I'm actually old enough to have played the original Silent Hill 2 when it came out. And without any exaggeration, it was a life-changing experience. I don't think I'd be doing what I do now had I not played it at that point in time. And a lot of the impact it had to do with James and the way the game portrayed his inner struggle in ways that were just groundbreaking.
For the long-time fans, I hope when they will launch the game, they will feel, finally, I'm playing Silent Hill game again. That's what I was longing for so long. And for the new players, I hope this game, with all of its aspects, puzzles, exploration, combat, will deal as a nice invitation to this wonderful franchise.